What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm at Mercedes-Benz of St. Charles in St. Charles, Illinois, proudly presenting a full in-depth tour or review of the 2020 Mercedes-AMG A35. So right off the bat, just looking around, is the AMG badge, exhaust tips, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe the A35 is a mild hybrid. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start it up, and let it run. This is what the key looks like. So multiple ways to unlock. You can use the key, or you can just grab behind the door handle. All right, so here's the ignition control. You press once to turn on the accessory power. Press again to turn on the full ignition. And then to start, press on the brake and then press the start button to start. Alright, so beginning with the steering wheel, it's full power, leather wrapped, flat bottom. When it comes to the drive modes, we've got slippery or snow mode, individual, comfort, sport, sport plus, to configure individual, you can just press the gear icon and you can adjust settings like manual or automatic transmission, and then you can set the dynamics to be either basic or advanced. So this is stuff like your suspension, braking, handling. And then as far as the drive goes, you have multiple different options here: reduced, moderate, sport, and dynamic. So I've essentially just set this up as Sport Plus with manual shifting. You can also request this at startup. We'll get more on that later. So back into comfort mode for the time being. Manual toggle right here, as well as traction control stages. So it defaults to traction control on startup, and if you want to turn the traction control completely off, you push and hold. See, it initially goes into ESP Sport and now it's ESP off, and back on. The transmission is an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. Pull all the way down for forward. It displays what gear you're in. Up halfway for neutral. You also do get a warning. And then in reverse, you do have a backup camera with dynamic guidance lines when you move the steering wheel. You can also adjust your view. And then down halfway for neutral from reverse, and then the button on the end to put the car into park. The parking brake is controlled through here. You push to set and you pull to release. It also automatically applies when you open the door and the car is in park, or if you shut the engine off. 3-person memory, push M to program, and then one of the 3 memory seating options to set. Power seat adjustments.
What do you want to do?
Cancel. Heated seats are standard. You can also opt for heated steering wheel. This also does have MBUX, so hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Find the nearest Shell gas station.
What can I do for you?
Cancel. Says the service was unavailable, so it's not really going to work. But anyway, coming to the controls on the steering wheel, we have cruise control. So that's to turn the system on, off, cancel, resume, and then, so what this does here is you go down to reduce your speed or set your cruise control, vice versa with up to increase your speed. But what's interesting is you can go down by 1 mile per hour or by increments of 5 and vice versa for up. So say you were going 40, tilted down, now you're going 35. Same if you're going 38, tilted all the way down, you're going 35 as opposed to 33. So increments of 5 as opposed to, you know, just flat out 5 mile per hour increase or decrease. But anyway, moving on, you can also change how the display looks. So right now it's in Super Sport. Here's what the understated display looks like. So no tachometer, but there is a clock and a speedometer. And then here's Classic. So very basic, shows you your tach off to the right, speed off to the left, fuel, coolant temperature, AMG logo, so that way you don't forget you're in an AMG. You also do have boost gauge, and then oil temperature and transmission fluid temperature. Here's what the sport display looks like. So very similar to how it looks in the E-Class, except one thing that's different is the parking brake indicator is off to the right, where the headlight indicator would be on an E-Class, versus off to the left, that's where the parking brake indicator would be on an E-Class.
What can I do for you?
Cancel. And then back to the Super Sport display, which has the sort of round instrument cluster here, then your oil, temperature, tachometer. So what's interesting is it goes off to the left as you give it more throttle, and you also do have a digital numeric readout. Same with your speed, along with the speedometer over there. So very track focused, even though this is not a full-blown AMG A45. All 4 windows are fully automatic. Lock and unlock. You do have a pilot light when the doors are locked. Trunk release. It is not a powered trunk. So now let's go ahead and turn on the lights. Rear fog lights and the hazard lights. And then pop the hood. LED side turn signal mirrors as you expect. It's got a Turbo 4MATIC badge on the side. So this has a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4, putting out 302 horsepower. Here's some emission control information, as well as the type of coolant. Windshield wiper fluid, brake fluid. It's one of the coolant reservoirs. This one's for the electronics, and then this one is for the radiator. It's got LED headlights. This has Continental Pro Contact CX or GX SSR, which means run flat. Mercedes original, all season tires. So, just to give you a demonstration of how much you can fit in this trunk, there's a box in the back. So you do get a decent amount of storage for the car. It's also got LED license plate lighting. The rear fog light off to the left. And there is an AMG badge in the grille. I expect nothing less. Panel brightness. So at night, when the light sensor detects that it's dark, that's when this comes into play. It does nothing during the day. Do have paddle shifters behind the wheel to make gear changes if you so desire, as most people would if they bought an AMG. Let's go ahead and see how it sounds. So I'm going to drop it into Sport Plus. Sounds pretty good. The idle also increases to 1,000 RPMs when you put it in Sport Plus. Whereas if I drop it back into Sport, it goes back down to 720 or around there, 700. You have shortcuts down here for car settings, favorite. So the favorite function, telephone, radio and media, navigation and map, and then this controls the command system, so volume up and down, press into mute, and then press and hold to turn the display off or the system off. So it's a shortcut for that. Some other things to note about the driver's display. So you do have the assistance menu. And for each menu, there is a full screen display. So there are two different options. You can view the trip, in which you'll see the odometer, tachometer, fuel consumption, eco display, distance from start, distance from reset, and then the option to engage the full screen display. So this is a pretty cool layout in my opinion. And then to exit, just hit the back button. So this car has 27 miles on it. It's brand spanking new. And then in the AMG performance menu, this is the mode you're going to want to be in, so that way you can see exactly how warm your transmission is, as well as your engine oil. Now, if you're in the Super Sport display, you cannot see the coolant temperature, so that is one disadvantage of using the Super Sport display. with the performance menu. But rest assured, you know, this is the mode or the menu you're going to want to be in most of the time, so that way you can see exactly what's going on with the car. Now over to this side, we do have climate controls right here. The buttons feel very nice to the touch. So that's to enter the menu for the climate control. You can turn the system off, have it on automatic. You do also have AC on and off and sync. Recirculation, front and rear defrost, max defrost. Well, front defrost is actually selected through the zones, so you opted to change the zone. So that's defrost. Or you can just leave it to auto. And then what's interesting is with the fan speed control, you can adjust the automatic airflow. There are 5 different stages. So I call this the semi-automatic climate control because it's not really fully automatic if you have to select between one of these 5 airflow settings. Like on a hot day, you'll want to have it all the way at number 5. And then shortcuts, as you would expect. But moving along, we have the phone menu here. You can connect your Bluetooth devices, see your contacts, and then adjust the settings. So device manager, name format, you can import contacts, delete them, radio and media, comfort settings. So this is where you engage the energizing comfort. So with the seat kinetics, you can activate a massage, and you can set the duration to be short, medium, or long. And you can have it be your backrest and seat surface, or just one or the other. And then just press play to start. So vice versa for the passenger seat. It's the exact same thing. As far as the ambient lighting, you can adjust that. You can turn off the multicolor if you want to just adjust it manually. So you can move the wheel left or right. And then you can turn on and off the multicolor animation if you have that enabled. You can also turn on and off the welcome and climate effects. So when you adjust the climate down, I'm not really sure if you can see it, but the ambient lighting does light up blue and then in red when you adjust it back up. Very cool feature. You can also adjust the intensity as well as the brightness zones. And here's the AMG performance menu for the center screen. So this is where you would configure your individual. And as far as the vehicle settings, so you can see the vehicle data, such as your G-force, so obviously when the car is in drive, it would project a forward motion, and then when you hit the brakes, not only does it tell you how much pressure is being applied to the brake, but you have tracks that extend from the tires in this animation, which I find to be really cool. I've never seen that on any other vehicle before. And then to zoom in, engine data, so engine oil temperature, transmission temperature, horsepower and torque, and then fuel consumption. You can also adjust the time interval up to 3 hours. And then here's where you have the Mercedes-Me and other apps. So you can connect to your Mercedes-Me app on your iPhone or Android. So this allows you to lock and unlock the vehicle, remote start it, locate it, see if it's been driven over 70 miles per hour, etc. if you have that setting enabled. It also does have a browser, so you can browse the internet if you have Wi-Fi or a 4G hotspot. And then vehicle settings. So active brake assist, you can adjust the intensity or the sensitivity, however you want to think about it. Or you can turn the system completely off if you don't like it. Same with the attention assist, you can adjust the sensitivity or turn it off if you don't like it. And then blind spot assist, turn that on and off through this menu. And it lights up in green when it's on, the background. Automatic seat adjustment, so when easy entry and exit is on, this will allow the seat to revert back whenever the car is turned off. Rear view camera, you can open the camera cover if you need to clean something or just inspect the camera for any damage. Not that that would ever happen, but I mean, it's an unlikely event, but it could happen. Acoustic lock, automatic door lock, so when you exceed 10 miles per hour, automatic mirror folding, and then standby mode. You have to have the ignition off to engage this. Ambient lighting, so I've already gone through that. Exterior lighting delay, so you can set this to be up to a minute, or you can disable it if you don't like it. And then interior lighting delay, there's no time adjustment intervals for that, so it's just on or off. And then you can turn on and off the daytime running lights. Locator lighting, so that's when it's dark outside and you unlock the car. The daytime running lights, tail lights, and then the mirror lights will light up. System settings, so this is an alternative method of changing the display design. So now it's in sport, and it's global, so it's not just the center display, it is also for the driver's display. So sport, like I mentioned, you can once again see the coolant temperature, whereas in Super Sport you cannot see that. But more importantly, you can see your engine oil and transmission oil temperatures, so that's nice. Because given that your engine is warm, most likely your coolant is at operating temperature as well. Ambient lighting adjustment, so you can have the ambient light adjust accordingly with the drive mode you've selected, or design mode rather. And then the in-vehicle operator's manual. I'm not going to go too in-depth on this, but essentially if you didn't want to use the hardcover copy, you have this, which is very useful. You can view your messages. Of course, that's irrelevant because the car is in park. So you can search for topics such as the headlights. But if we just go back for a second, you can also adjust the display brightness to have it be more or less intense. You can also turn the display off. And then finally the day and night design, you can have it be automatic or fully day or fully night, so full time. Then controls, so keyboards, handwriting. And then sensitivity on the touchpad, as well as the touch control. So touch controls for the steering wheel. You can also tap to click, and then you can enable or disable haptic feedback. And then the acoustic feedback, you can adjust the intensity or turn it off. Linguatronic, audio, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So you can enable and disable Bluetooth, NFC, Wi-Fi, and then vehicle hotspot settings. You can also view your vehicle hotspot status as well as your internet status. Date and time, language, units, so you can change from miles per hour to kilometers per hour easily. License activation or activity, software updates, system backup, password protection, system info, and format system memory. Auto start stop on and off, which in my opinion you should never have that on in an AMG unless you were running out of gas. Storage compartment for sunglasses. There's a mirror along with an LED light. There's one for the passenger as well. And then sunroof controls. It is a one-touch automatic. And you pull back to close. And if you just wanted to crack it open, you just press in. And once again, pull back to close and pull back again to block out the sun. Emergency SOS, Mercedes-AMG. Interior illumination, so driver reading lamp, passenger reading lamp. When this pilot light is lit, the interior lighting will not light up when you open the doors. Interior illumination override, and then one for the rear as well. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the back. It's got rear ventilation, power outlets, as well as storage. And then it's got these lovely red seat belts, along with a black seat belt for the middle passenger. Cup holders, they do fold out. It's also got lovely red stitching along multiple trim pieces within the vehicle, as well as interior illumination controls for the rear, and then a coat hanger, and an automatic window control. This requires premium unleaded fuel. You also do have a rescue card if you're stranded on the side of the road. Decent amount of storage space, It's got this AMG detail here, which I believe is an option. And then center storage with power outlets. All right, let's go ahead and turn it off. And that pretty much concludes this review. So, if you enjoyed, please smash the thumbs up in the face, subscribe if you're new, turn on post notifications, do what you guys do best. Peace out. Don't just have a great day, have an awesome day.